Oh my goodness. What a thrill this snow has been. I did manage to cobble together my snow shovel enough to clear the sidewalk. But yeah, it's still here and it hasn't really done much melting. Maybe a little, but we're going to actually go drive and see. The school called to see what I thought about like the area I drive in, and I have no idea because I haven't been out. So I guess I'll drive and see what that looks like, and we'll get started right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, Ross the Oliver Man. Sure. It would also be probably a handy thing to see if I got any mail, because that old saying about neither rain nor sleet nor whatever, I think they've changed it now to either. So either rain nor sleet, they will not bring the mail. So, and I see that we still need four-wheel drive because it's pretty slippy. So let's put it back in four-wheel drive. Come on, baby doll. I think we're actually spinning our wheels. All four. That's okay though. I mean, the roads are bound to be better than they were 2 days ago, but the biggest concern that I have is if it's only one lane and you can't see the ditch, you know, when you're trying to meet somebody in the dark. That would be my 2 cents worth on that. Yeah, we'll get the mail. So next to the woods, look at that, nice and clear. Then we go over here to this other direction and it looks like an icy mess. Oh, I have one letter in my mailbox. I don't know. It shows that I got more mail than I really have here. So I'm wondering if it's buried under the snow and the mail guy just threw it out in a thing. They've done that before. Come on, truck. I don't know about using my personal vehicle to check out stuff for the school. I sent him a bill. I'm afraid, like I said too, I kind of feel like at this point, maybe we should just wait till next week. I mean, it's been practically a whole week. Why start at the end? And again, that's foolishness, you know. People up north in the comments, you know, they deal with this all the time. There's another person who pushes it out of the driveway. That was something somebody commented on. That's not a thing here. Like, I didn't know that they fine you in other places, but everybody does that here. Like, shove it across the road out of the way, because what do you finally do with it? But whatever. Yeah, the nice areas where there were trees, the road's clear, but I don't know. But anyway, people in the comments had all kinds of stuff about the snow, and yeah, you guys deal with it all the time, so you're more equipped. We don't have a snow like this, but maybe once every 5 years. Everything else we have is like an inch or two, and then that's enough to cause us a hassle. Look at that intersection with the gigantic wad of snow in it. I will say that they have got it pretty well back to 2 lanes in a lot of places. I mean, you still better watch it if you're in the dark. The only reason I say that is I got hit last year by a truck. I pulled over and stopped because I saw this truck coming, and I didn't think he was slowing down the appropriate amount to pass on stuff like this. So I was one set of wheels in the snow, and his mirror hit my side cameras and destroyed a piece of metal on the side. But other than that, it didn't cause much damage to me. It shattered his mirror, but hey, it wasn't my fault. I was in the ditch practically. So I don't know. If the roads are like this, I think we'll be okay. But I don't know. I'm gonna keep driving around and check her out, because turnarounds and places like that are where you're gonna have trouble. And you know, this road here is probably like a more traveled road, so it's thawed off more, but some of the ones where there's not very much action could still be a mess. So anywho's, that's what I'm gonna do for a while. Drive around. The birds. They're back. They don't have as much to snack on this year, but hopefully it's just a short layover this time. There's still a ton of them out there. I don't know if you can really see them on the camera. They're not real close by the road. They're kind of in the middle of the field there, but there's a good bunch of them out there. Anyway, I would guess that they will want to have like a delay tomorrow, 2-hour delay, because there's still places where it ain't great, but there's other places where it's like this and the road's clear. So I don't know. We'll see what they decide to do. Some people think that's a dumb idea, but hey, I'll tell you, 2-hour delay is all right, because what it gains you is you have what do I want to say? I was thinking about the mail, got distracted. 2-hour delay is good because you're driving in the daylight for A, and then for B, you have a lot less traffic on the road. I know from doing anything else, like when I want to move equipment or whatever, or do things, 9 to 10 in the morning is probably the best time, because there's nothing on the road compared to, you know, an hour earlier or whatever. And then you start getting closer to noon and more people are out and about, so it just works good, you know, for that too. Now, I suppose, since we've wasted a bunch of time on that and driving to town and whatnot, we'll find something else to do, and maybe we can turn this into some kind of a usable video. Right now it's pretty boring. All right, I forgot some stuff upstairs that I was gonna work on. See, we've got choices. We got our John Deere light finished, so we need to take back that socket that we didn't use. We've got some stuff to do here. I guess that's all trash. Since I had to drive around anyway, I went to town and went to some local businesses to get some supplies, because hey, the last few days they probably haven't had very many customers. So if I can buy some stuff from them and help keep them going, then I will gladly do that, because I like having them around. So what are we going to do here? Well, this is for a different project that I'll have to start but not finish, because I don't have all the pieces yet. So you'll see that whenever that happens. And I'm trying to debate on what I want to do right now. I think we're going to do a couple things. Let's start with this little carburetor, which the poor thing has been apart for a year. This is the carburetor off of that C Alice. And every time I wanted to get back to this little tractor, I would end up robbing parts off of it. I bet that tractor had 7 coils put on it in the last year, and every time I'd end up robbing it for something else. So that ain't no good. So what I'm going to do here, I believe, is I'm going to wire wheel this up a little bit more to knock off some of the... Actually, leaving it sit produced an interesting result, which I have not seen before, but it's probably a good thing. The dirt that was on it like bubbled up to the surface in places, so it's loose. It just needs knocked off of there. And so what I think I'm going to do is I've cooked it a couple times in the ultrasonic cleaner, and that's grand. And of course we had cooked it way back when. It was kind of a nasty one. What I'm going to do is wire wheel it up, and then we're going to put it in the evaporest. I had to get some more. My evaporest was about gone. And we will put that in there and let that soak. We might let the other guy's carburetor soak in there as well. It's not really as rusty. But I'm debating on whether I want to wait on that one. I might wait on that one till just before I'm ready to assemble it. I don't have that seat for the load needle yet, so if he doesn't come up with one, I'm going to have to try to order one, and that might be possible, but whatever. But we're going to do this first, get this soaking, and then I'm going to go upstairs. I've got the other two of these wheel locks, and we are going to clean them up and try to get them painted so that whenever we get a chance, whenever the snow is less, we can mount that rim on the tractor, we can paint it, and then we can start mounting tires again. But it's going to be a while for tires because they're in freezing cold, and rubber does not work. I mean, it needs to be warm and they need to be laying in the sun for that to go well. So that's probably not going to happen now. I thought about putting these in the evaporest, but I don't really see any advantage to that necessarily because they're fairly clean. When I wire wheeled on one a little bit, maybe it wasn't that one, I don't know, but they clean up pretty decent-ish. And now that I got the threads, I've got the nuts all the way loose. That's what I was working on, and I ended up having to heat those other two. They would not budge without heat. But I'm going to take these apart, clean them up real good, and then paint them so that they don't rust, like this piece and this piece. Not so much the threads, I'll just grease them up really good. I don't know, but that's my thinking. I mean, I'm more interested in, like I said, I could put these in evaporest and let them sit. That works great. I did it before on wheel locks and things, and that's nice, but I'm more interested in carburetors for the evaporest right now. This is a big enough, I don't know what I want to say, tolerance. This isn't really like a precise affair. It's just threads on a bolt. And this part slid in and out of the other things easy because a lot of them just fell out when I turned the wheel upside down. So it's not like we're in bad shape there. But step one is cleaning this up. We've cleaned this up I don't know how many times, but you know, life happens. I also lamented to the person at the store that they need to keep both kinds of these things on hand. Some of them have a round shank, some of them have a hex shank, but it seems like the more often you see the hex shank, and that's not really handy. You can't really put those in a die grinder at all, and you can't really put them in a drill very good because they don't want to grip just exactly right. So you kind of need both. The hex-headed ones are good for some stuff because they don't slip, but then round head is good for whatever. We're just trying to knock some of the loose scale off. This way the evaporest can attack all of the inner passages and not be working so hard on exterior. The more I think about it now, I'm thinking that maybe I did not have evaporest and this never got soaked in it because it's awfully rusty inside of some places and it shouldn't be that way. Let's see if we can get this out. Not that it matters, it's just a bowl drain, but that's just one more place for, I don't know. Let's just start with it clean, that's what I'm saying. Gotta remember where I laid all the parts for that. It can only do good, is what I'm saying. There's some places on it that just are kind of... You're getting very shaky. I'm sorry about that. But I think it's going to be... I think we're going to be able to use it again, you know? And I can't remember now that I think about it. Because like I said, this has went on way too long. There is one of these little jets that's kind of stuck in here. And I don't think that I can get that out. I couldn't before. And let's see if we can find some screwdriver that would maybe be... See, that's too wide. I need the girth and the strength, you know. I need to grind on one a little bit probably. And I got a theory on that too. I may do something about tomorrow. That was a nice screwdriver, but it's not anymore. Let's see here. Yeah, I just don't have one good to get that out. But I might be able to fix that later. I don't think it's plugged up, so anyway. We're gonna evaporest it, then we're going to cook it some more in the cooking. If that makes sense. Let's see here. I don't know what is in evaporest, but it works good. It's supposed to be safe, like for the environment. Let's stop there. We don't need to give it all up on the first time out. It's certainly, well, I guess I could have done a little more to cover it. Submerge it completely so that it doesn't have any air pocket in it or anything. I probably should flip that upside down to make sure of that, because that would be dumb, wouldn't it, if it was not cleaning? Because it... There we go. Let's turn her like this. It's already working. See, look at it bubbling. We don't know what it is. Dangerous, deadly acid, perhaps? I don't know. But we're going to set this aside. And the good thing is it's reusable, so we can pour it back in the bottle. That is actually brand new, though. That's going to hurt my brain to... It's probably not going to go back in the bottle, though, because we're going to have enough out. We got enough stuff we can soak that we're just going to keep soaking things. But anyway, that should be everything on that regard, I think. I don't know if we want to... Well, we're going to have everything destroyed before we're done, probably. All right, that takes us to these little babies. If you're not sure how these worked in the other videos that you may or may not have seen, because I don't remember what we do and don't do, yeah, I don't want to lose this off to the side. I'm doing another thing. I don't know. Okay. Basically how these work is on your wheel center, there's a cast piece, and then this long stem goes into there. It's just smooth. There's no threads, you see, on that part. And then what happens is it goes down in there, and the cast piece is kind of bowl-shaped like this nut is the opposite way, so that is a nice mating seat to it. And then when you want to spin in your rim, you turn these like I just did, where it essentially pulls this down, you know, because it'll let it go in there more, kind of like what I'm doing right now. Squeezes this together so it lets this drop off of the rail. Then when you get it spun where you want and you want to put it down, you turn this away, and it wedges this up against the rail from here. The nut is the wedging surface, so it wedges from here to here, and then that locks it tight. And there's all kinds of different wheel locks that exist on different types of wheels. Who's to say what's the best? This is kind of simple, but the one thing you have to be careful about on this is you need to make sure that you do them evenly, because if you turn one way out or whatever, and then you turn, well, let's do it the other way. That one's really like that. So let's say you tightened one up and this one was tight like this, but then this one is tight. Let's see. You tighten this one up and it's like that. Well, that's not going to work, because even though your wheel's not going to spin, what it's going to do is it's going to let the rim be on there off center, and then when you drive down the road, you're going to feel the bump all the time when it hits the tall one, you know, and then the short one gets, the wheel's not going to be in the center of the rim anymore. So these kind of locks take a little bit of common sense, I guess you'd say, to use, so that you make sure you do it right. Whereas your wheel locks on like the old WD Alice Chalmers and that, they were like 180 turn locks. So you turn them one way and it let it loose, you spin it out, and then you turn it back over the other way and they're locked down, and that's it. It had multiple pieces. It had a I'm trying to think of how that was. The plate that bolts to the wheel center, and then there was a nut, or the 180 degree turner thing. It had like a little flap on it with a bolt head on one end, and one way or the other. And then inside it, there was a loose wedge that it actually physically, that bolt, when you turned it, it was eccentric, and it would push that wedge against the rail and lock it and whatever. So that one was kind of idiot proof. I mean, not quarter turn. I want to say quarter turn, but it's not. It's a 180 degree turn. Pretty simple. I mean, it was either that way or it wasn't, so whatever. And then you've got the kind where, like on the later Olivers, like my 1365's got, you just, the wedge is one piece. This is one piece, and it's got like a flat casting with a bolt hole through it, and then like an angled bottom. And as you tighten the bolt, it wedges in there like this against the rail. And there again, you have to watch that you get them evenly tightened, because if you have one wedged way in and you got the other one out like this, you're going to get that hop when you drive the thing around, especially on the road. So there's all different kinds. Fords, some of the Ford tractors used almost like a spiral thing. Like the rim had a bunch of slots, and the center was, if you looked at the rim, the center, what do you want to say, the lip was like offset, and it would actually screw through those slots wherever you put it, and then that's how you spun it in and out. So I don't know, and I'm sure there's probably things I haven't even seen out there before, but as far as simplicity goes, this is about as simple as they get. You turn one nut and you got her done. And then of course your wheel lock, your rail stop, you'd move so it has some place to push against, but whatever. So now that long boring story is done, what I'm going to do is clean these up, and I got the other two upstairs. I'm gonna go get them. We're going to clean them up and make sure that they're everything we hoped and dreamed of, totally clean, and then we're going to paint them, only because I don't like rust. You know, if I go to all the work to take stuff apart, I want to try to keep it as nice as long as possible, and so that's what I'm doing. Maybe you wouldn't do that, maybe you think it's dumb. I actually paint them in different colors so that it kind of stands out, you know. I'm going to paint these clover white, and then I'll paint these black. And then that'll offset against the silver of everything, and it'll just make it look like somebody took the time to take it apart, you know. That's the thing about, like, when I don't do world-class paint jobs, but when I work on stuff, like, I like it when the generator or the starter are different colors than the rest of the motor, because it looks like you took your time to take stuff apart to do it, other than just you had it all together and just took your spray gun and went wild and painted everything you could, including the dog meadow green. I don't like that. I would rather it look different so that it looks like, you know, things came apart. But anyway, I'll go grab the other two and get to working on this, and then I'll bring you back when I'm somewhere formulated here with how this is going to go. I think it should be fairly straightforward. I might even see about, like this piece of cardboard we're working on, maybe I'll just punch some holes in it and I could drop these through, and then they can sit and dry like that. I mean, they do balance kind of, but do I really want to risk them getting knocked over, you know, and then ruin the paint job we give them? I don't know, but it doesn't matter. We ain't going to the fair with stuff. I do have 4 vice grips down here. Maybe I could just clamp a vice grip on each one, and that would hold them up in the air. I might do that. Just something, once they're painted, that they don't go all crazy, because that sucks when you go to all that trouble and then something stupid happens. So I'll go get the other 2 and get to work. Oh friends, we already have trouble in paradise here. I had these loose yesterday, and now they're not wanting to play ball. So we're gonna have to work on that. They should come loose fairly easily because, you know, they were loose. I think it's just a matter of they cooled down, and maybe I do need to evaporest these. I don't know. We'll get it. Boy, that took a little more effort than I really care to have it take. And I don't get that. I mean, we were doing so good yesterday. Maybe we do need to. We'll clean these up, and I'll clean up the threads on this real good, and then I'll make my final determination, because maybe it would be a good idea to let those soak. We aren't going to be mounting this anytime soon anyway. Okay. Yeah, well, we got them loose. I'll clean and I'll let you know what I decide. All right, I messed with these a while, and I got them, you know, where they're like this, which is what I really want, where they're just finger loose and you can spin them back both ways, you know, because, hey, if they start out like that, they've got somewhere to go. However, these 2, I mean, I got them pretty good now too. They were feeling kind of sticky. That's just not that big a deal. But this one, it has a spot right there where it wants to get tighter, but once you get past that, then it'll be just as good as you please. So what to do? I think I'm gonna go ahead and soak them instead of just you know, wire wheel and paint. I feel like that maybe that rough spot would come out of it a little bit, because it might be some trash down in this nut. It may be that we've totally hurt its feelings when we heated it, you know, but I don't think that evaporest is gonna I don't think that it's gonna hurt it, so I think maybe we should just do that. I got a separate little bucket here. Maybe I can just lay everything down in there. And then what that gains me is I don't have the same as the carburetor. So I'm not dirtying I'm not gonna dirty the same stuff, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? That way the carburetor, if it's not that dirty, the stuff will remain cleaner. This stuff will probably come out completely black as can be, because it's, you know, they were pretty rusty. But I'm gonna just do that, whether that's the right thing to do or not. Even though that ruins our progress on this video, at least progress is being made, and I feel like when that stuff comes out of there, we're really gonna like what we see. So, anywhoos, see, there's our carburetor. You can already see that it's starting to look bare metal, and the liquid is getting darker, so it's working. Anyway, this is good stuff. I wish they would sponsor me and send me a 55-gallon drum of it, but they haven't done that yet. But it is good. I mean, and the nice thing is, it is reusable. You can pour it out of your container back in and go again. Now, eventually, it starts getting so crusty and nasty. Like, I will pour some of it back in, and then the last little bit that has a bunch of trash in it, I don't save that. But it works good on stuff like this. It works good on fuel tanks, friends, but you got to buy a bunch of it. But the 1365 fuel tank, when I first got that running several years ago, the fuel tank was horrendous. I mean, it was terrible. And so I filled it with this. I got, I don't know how many gallons of this. I guess I didn't fill it, but I probably put 5 gallons of this in it and then let it sit this way. And then the next day I turned it like this and let it sit, and then like this and whatever. Basically every side I let have some time soaking, and then poured it out. You have to wash it out. That's one thing that I found you have to do, and I don't know if it still says, yeah, rinse. It leaves like it's an odd thing. It leaves kind of like a scum behind on some of it, so you have to wash it off, and then, you know, whatever, and you can go again. But this is good stuff. Yeah, see, prep item: remove and brush off loose rust, clean oily surfaces with your favorite detergent or degreaser, aka Synchlorolimpodidor. That's what we use for that. And then submerge it in there 12 to 24 hours. I just usually leave it overnight, 24 hours or whatever. I mean, 12 hours. This will be in there probably 24 hours before we get back to it again. Once item is rust-free, rinse with water and dry. Your item can be painted or stored to prevent flash rust. Spray with something. Yes. So you got to clean it up, then go about your business doing something with it right away, because otherwise you're going to have flash rust happen. But it is good stuff, and not, I'm trying to remember this. They sell it at the Hobo Freight, and I don't know what they charge for it there. This cost me $29 at the parts store, but I didn't want to run to a different town to get it. But it is good stuff, and it works great for carburetors, like I said, fuel tanks, wheel locks, just anything you can submerge in there. It does a fantastic job of making it nicer, more better. And it's supposed to be environmentally friendly, if you care about that. Not that that's a big thing, but I thought they always said it was. Yeah, it's water-based, acid-free, and safe on all surfaces. It won't harm sensitive materials like copper, brass, aluminum, plastic, rubber, vinyl. Just pour, soak, rinse, and reuse. So, good stuff, friends. And I guess we'll call this video here. I know that the wintertime videos aren't that interesting when we're inside, but that's just the way it's got to be for a while. So, until next time, we're going to leave this video here. After watching what you just saw, do you feel like your IQ has dropped lower than your credit score? Well, there's no reason that both of us should be miserable, so go ahead and hit that thumbs up and leave a comment. That stuff costs you nothing, and it really helps me out. Your banker may not approve, but I know mine will. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.